everyone. My name is Lee, and today I'm here with All on the Table for the Transverse, and we are running a game called Wonderland Complications. I'm DMing. Um, Basically, our party has been hired by the wife of a merchant, uh, Arthal Kaflan, because he went missing. He went missing while in Wonderland, creating some sort of business deal. Um, and so the party has been hired to go and figure out what the heck happened to him and try to get him back. So far, okay. So far, I'm just being loud. I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Right. So far, they have heard that he had went to visit the court, the Queen of Red Cup, the Queen of the Orange Cups, um, in their court, and they got directions by beating a few Tweedles in a checkers competition of all things. So they're standing outside this giant fortress with a wall, and there's a moat, and the drawbridge is up, and they are um, standing there waiting on that. We are missing two players, but you'll see how we deal with that in a minute. It's gonna be fun, and there will be shenanigans, and yeah, welcome. All right, and yeah, we have our two players and two very cute pictures of other fun things who are not players to make up for those. And why don't you introduce your selves and your characters and a little about them, and then we can get started.
Hi, I'm Micah, and I'm playing Molly Fox, the toon monster hunter with a heart of probably not gold, coal,
Silver.
maybe, silver, badly tarnished silver.
There you go.
Zinc, heart of zinc, still valuable. Anyways, I am the fox Molly. Hello. I use she, her pronouns. I play the character Gorge. Gorge also uses she, her pronouns. She's the fallen Akari that is completely slighted and here in cahoots with some shady trade union teamster dealings.
Yeah. You also have your contact in the court of the Blue Cross, who is Rico. He's your contact within the card courts. Might know a little bit more about what's going on, might not. So if you want to go seek him out, possibility. But for now, the party stands in front of a drawbridge, which is up, meaning it's closed, and the in the court of the right in front of the big wall that's around the court of the Orange Cups main compound, there's a moat. It is full of something dangerous. You can see movement in the water. There's definitely something sketchy and dangerous down there that you do not want to get eaten by. And you do notice that there is, you can kind of see in the distance around this wall, there are patrols, and they're starting to come this way. So in about a minute or two, you might be able to yell and get their attention. Unless you want to try something else to get across the moat and into the
Rather than yelling, I think Molly might just impatiently fire her gun in the air.
Oh, an important question. All right.
As this happens, the vibration from the bracelets catch Gorge's voice, and she says, "Hail and well met. We're here to chat. We're here to to contact you about your car's extended warranty."
Yeah. You might have a secondary weapon that you were given by the merchant's wife, and I never gave stats for that, but it is a bizarre, questionable experimental gun from her family's parent company that you might have access to if you wanted to have taken it.
So yeah, that was the thaumaturgy. Just
add thaumaturgy to your yelling, and You watch as the guards come running, hustling along, spears out. One of them has a crossbow, is pulling that, and they come to the top of um, the um, they come to the top of the drawbridge and poke their heads over and point a crossbow at you. And one of them fires very clearly a warning shot, and it hits just next to you. And they call back, "Halt! Who goes there? Who dares disturb the queen, the court of the orange cups?"
All right. No need for that. We just want to get in.
And you thought the best way to do that was to fire a weapon, a deadly weapon, no less.
Got your attention, didn't it?
We weren't
Molly
ding.
says,
We
smoking.
weren't aiming for you. She was. They weren't aiming for you. Come on with it. We're here to talk. This is just a hello, hey, how are you type gunshot.
Huh. Hmm.
Don't worry
Uh,
about wee Barnabas here. She pats the gun and it blinks its eyes. It'll be all right. He doesn't mean you any harm.
So
I see.
so
And you notice these guards are playing cards, perfectly flat with arms and legs. Kind of, it's hard to gauge the exact attachment point, but they very clearly don't have anything behind the cards. They're very like thin in the middle with their arms and legs kind of sticking out. And you notice one of them is a 3 and one of them is a 4, and they all have the orange cup design. And they kind of look down at you, and the 3 says, I see. And your business with the Court of the Orange Cups?
oh
We're here looking for some fella called Arthur Coughlin. We heard he
And
might be here.
the two of them look at each
Perhaps?
other, and you see one of them lean in and whisper into the other's ear, and the other kind of looks at him, shakes his head, and kind of the other guy comes back. All right, and can you prove that you are worthy of seeking him?
yes. What's your favorite way to receive proof?
How about the queen has a rule that only parties of 2 or more may enter. Plus, your friend kind of points at the professor, might be a little heavy on the drawbridge. So, pick 2 of the remaining 3 of you to come in, and then we will fight a duel to prove your worthiness.
It's a bit extreme, isn't it?
Not a deadly duel. We do have a cleric of the goddess Elethra who can heal you.
Well,
should that prove to be.
this sounds like a great time. I would love to do this, and she'll take out the spear from behind her and kind of like brush off her shield real quick and say, "Who would like to tango?"
And he kind of, so you and one other among your number.
I'll back you up, Hen.
Thank you, Molly.
Molly says to Gorge, finishing off her perpetual cigarette and immediately finding another one in her hands. Besides, wee Kaz there, I don't think he's the best choice for a duel, really.
All right. And Cass kind of nods and takes a step back. And so then the drawbridge does lower.
Bless goes
slowly.
up on me and Molly.
All right. So the drawbridge begins to lower slowly and steadily until it's lying flat against out of the across the moat, the dangerous creature moat, and you are allowed to enter.
Okay.
Hey, Molly just kind of saunters across the bridge, her exaggerated toon hips swaying. She looks slightly bored, but nonetheless peers over the drawbridge as she walks past, trying to get a glimpse of whatever horrible things might be lurking in the moat.
Yeah, you can roll a perception check if you want.
Okay. Perception. I got a 21.
A 1. They're
21.
definitely things. They're definitely alive. And they have teeth. You can see the teeth. Very nasty teeth.
21.
21. That is a little better. That is a very different sort of thing. They have the closest you can think is a mermaid tail, a very long, exaggerated purple iridescent tail, and then they also have 2 front legs, legs, not arms, very much in a leggy position of the joints, but they're using them to paddle and to flop along with their tail, and the heads of crocodiles, with the long snouts and the kind of bulgy eyes, except their front part is violently orange, except for black cups on the orange background. And you notice the way it looks almost like it's painted. The cup, the edges are kind of off, and then you can see kind of a little bit of black on the edge where it meets the tail. It kind of goes down a little bit. It looks like they've been painted orange, but the paint's not washing off in the water. So, with little cups left, you can kind of see the edges fuzzy where it probably sprayed on, maybe. It's but they definitely have big jaws with lots of teeth, and you can see there's claws too, and the tail is long enough that it could probably smack you with it too, if it wanted to. Definitely not something you want to tangle with.
So Gorge will look down and alongside her toon friend and will say, "Oh, I'm gonna dye my hair that color next. My God, once green goes, once this fades, ooh, that's a great color."
No shortage of colours in Wonderland, Molly says, finishing off her tab and chucking it in the moat as they pass under the drawbridge, under the portcullis.
Okay. All right. That works about right. All right. So, yeah, you make your way through the into the drawbridge, and you find yourself in a courtyard. And one of the guards you notice is sprinting down across along the wall and down and out, while the other guard greets you in front and says, "Greetings. You have now entered the Court of the Orange Cups, and you will be subject to a duel to prove your worthiness. And then, and only then, you may speak to the Queen."
Sounds like a great time.
Royal audience. Can't really say fairer than that. So, who's going to fight us?
And he kind of glances behind him. The champions are coming now. And you notice from a guardhouse, the other guard kind of vanished off the wall. There's one more up there, but you still keep an eye out. Comes down, and he's bringing with him 2 other cards. And they're a little better armed. One of them has a 5 and the 5 orange cups. The other has a little 6 in the corner up by his shoulder and by his thigh. And there are 6 orange cups. And they come forward and give a bow. And they say, "We are the champions."
Well, hello, champions. I'm Gorge, and this is Molly, and that's Barnabas. And Barnabas will be the last sound you ever hear.
And they glance at each other, nod to each other, and they, the one who's the guard backs away, and the other 2, and you notice they're wearing chainmail sleeves over their arms, and some sort of like a chainmail skirt almost, and greaves on the legs. And Yeah, they look like they mean business, and they are um, uh, they are about to they're about to attack, and you are roll for initiative.
Okay. That would be
All right.
19 plus 3,
So the 5 and
22.
6.
5.
Okay.
My dex is 0. Zero.
So 14 for the 5, which puts him at 0, or 9 for the 5. So the 5 is at 0. Let me write this. Is initiative count 9, and 6 is at initiative count of. Oh, you rolled well. And a +2, so 16. And Molly is initiative count
22.
20. Oh, well, you're probably going first. Gorge.
5.
Okay. Right, I thought you said 5. Okay, that's why I had 5 instead of 9. All right, because you said it. All right, so you are going last. Molly. The two square off. One of them has a war pick, like a almost you see a pickaxe, which is an unusual choice. The other has a set of daggers. Has 2 daggers, and they are squaring off against you.
Okay.
What's your plan?
I reckon Molly has immediately sort of backed off, dropped to her knee, lifted Barnabas up, who like squeezes his eye tight shut, because it hurts every time he gets fired. And she pulls the trigger, and there's a great cartoony cloud of smoke, a loud boom, and this oversized bullet that also has eyes and a sort of wicked grin on it, and is kind of colored with yellow and black stripes like a bee, shoots out of the end of it and
Oh, a
starts buzzing towards it.
bumblebee from. Okay, makes sense.
It's bullet bees. It has a nest of bullet bees inside it.
Okay, so bullet bee goes streaking toward, and roll for the hit.
Don't
And
forget
which
your
one are you
blast.
targeting? 5 or 6?
I am going to target number 5.
Number 5. Okay.
And I am not going to do very well because I
Don't forget your D4.
Oh, well, either way, I still don't think I'm going to do very well unless. Oh, I got 4. Okay, so that's 10, 11.
11.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. He bats it away. He swings the pick around and just it goes shooting up.
Goes.
All right.
Well, are they? They're sort of. We kind of started this as I'm imagining like kind of like there's like a little bit of a circle around us, and we're like 30 feet away, 60 feet away.
Oh, so you're getting down. They kind of set you up, pull you forward before, they have a whistle. So essentially, they're about 15 feet away when the
Okay.
whistle blows,
Oh.
and in a square. And you can see a couple of guards are like poking their heads out.
I'm sorry, I'm a total idiot. I was just looking at the fighting style bonus. I actually got 15 in total, if that makes any difference.
That is exactly what you need to hit, actually.
Okay.
The 5.
All right. So how much
you attack
damage?
the 5?
He swings the pick at it to try to get it, and it goes into his shoulder anyway, and then kind of bends the edge of the shoulder. How much damage, though?
It's D12 damage, so
Ooh,
we'll
okay.
see.
A gun Barian.
10.
Ooh, yeah, it bends the shoulder, the square it bends back the whole corner. Um, not looking so good. Has let's see what higher. Okay, so yeah. Um,
There you go,
okay.
Hen. I've softened him up for you.
Thank you. I
All
always knew
right.
you were a gem.
Okay. Then the okay. So uh, 5, who is has been grievously wounded, is going to charge forward, uh, waving the pick, and like, for the queen. And he's gonna go for Molly because Molly just shot at him, and he doesn't like being shot at, and it's painful. And he's going to use. Let's see. Um, he only gets one attack, so he's going to. Okay, so only a 5 foot. Okay, so he's we're gonna use a different set of dice for this one, and oh, that's pretty good. 16.
Yep, that is more than enough to hurt me.
Okay, and his pick. How much does the pick do? D8. Okay. Find one. All right. Yeah, but he rolled a 1, so 3 points of damage.
Okay.
Kind of goes and the way the smoke's throwing him off, so he only like chips your arm for 3 points of damage.
Okay.
And he kind of spins around behind you, holding a pickup. And so he does that, and then his friend is gonna run out and go for Gorge, and he's gonna come barreling towards you. They're 15 feet, so he's gonna run 15 feet, and then he's gonna pull up the 2 daggers and go whoop, whoop, and I'll run them both at the same time. 2. Okay, one of them was a nat 1, so that doesn't hit. It kind of goes around. The other is it's their bonus. Let's see, plus
19 to hit.
a 19. Yes. Oh, right. 19. Oh, right. So that's a 14, which means you're fine.
Yep, knock it away. Knock it away. Just sort of bring up, had the shield kind of waiting, and as they ran forward to kind of like a beginner would do karate, it's like, oh, I can defend myself, but only if you attack me like this. And so I'm able to knock away the two knives.
All right. Yeah, and you just boom. One of them goes completely wide. The other goes straight into the shield.
So as this happens, she's gonna, with the spear in hand, she's just gonna try to drive it through as these daggers are coming down. She's gonna try to drive her spear through.
Go for it.
With a whopping 7, we'll miss.
7 does not hit.
No.
Yeah, he kind of like folds because you go for like a side strike, and you realize that they don't have sides; they're very edgy, so it goes right across the edge.
Oh my gosh!
Right in front of, but it's, where his like where his stomach would be, kind of from that angle if he had a stomach, but because he doesn't, it just goes across.
And you'll see kind of the bracelets kind of resonate deeper, and it's like frustration lines cross Gorge's face, and that's the end of her turn.
Okay, Molly.
Well, she'll kind of angle herself between, like, rotate around the guy so she's closer to Molly.
Oh, that puts you exactly. Okay,
Yep.
Good to know.
We're playing flanking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Molly, what are your plans?
So I imagine Molly, when this
is gonna be tricky, but
I imagine when number 5 closes with her and brings its pick down, she kind of blocks with Barnabas kind of ineffectively and gets like a red streak down of blood red ink down her arm or whatever. And she kind of just drops Barnabas and pulls out a wicked looking machete.
All right.
And tries to go for him again.
All right.
this time. That's only 14.
A 14. Yeah, he kind of ducks a little bit, and you almost get his arm, and then he throws it out of the way at the last minute. Kind of up, raised it at the last minute, and your machete goes just under where his arm was. So and it is his turn, and he's gonna not like being stabbed either, and he's gonna go for you again with the pick, and hopefully roll better this time. We'll see. Oh, that is better. A 15. 19.
19 will hit.
All right. Okay, and then he does +2. We'll see how that go. 6 damage this time.
Yeah,
Move it up in the world.
That is certainly painful.
Okay. And then 6 is gonna go for Gorge again. Not gonna use the dice that. Okay. 12 and an 18. Yeah, Gorge is very hard to hit with the shield and the it's probably shield and
Split mail.
heavy armor of some sort. That'll get you. Okay. Yeah. One kind of clinks off the shield, and the other kind of clinks off the armor just off to the side, and he just squares himself away again. And that's his turn. What are you doing?
I am going to step. Oh, that would be an opportunity attack. You know what? I'll risk it. I'll step back away from the one that's attacking me and position myself so that I'm flanking the one attacking Molly.
Okay, that does grant him an opportunity attack.
Yep.
But that's a 10. So
Cool.
yeah, he jams the dagger back at you as you try to move, and then you just step past. And you are flanking with Molly. That does give you advantage because flanking.
Cool. I'm gonna stab out with my stabby stab. We have a 14, 19, 20 with bless.
Yeah, 20 hits.
All right, cool. So that'll be. I should roll damage.
Wait, did you cast bless?
Yes.
Oh, was that a pre-fighting thing?
Yep. Just
I
as
missed.
we were
Okay.
crossing the bridge.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
So that'll
plenty of time
be.
to know you were doing it. So.
Oh, sorry. I will make sure. Sorry that was unclear. 9
No.
damage.
Oh, 9 damage?
Yep.
Okay.
Roll the max.
The one attacking Molly, who is really not doing so well now. That's
And
yeesh.
that'll
And did
be
you
me.
bless you and Molly?
Yes.
Okay. And does Molly, have you been adding your the bless to hit?
What does bless do again?
It gives you a +2, I believe.
1d4.
1d4.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
24.
roll a
Yeah, I
d4
did
with
the
your
last
attack.
time. Yeah, so I will do that again this time.
All right. Good to know. And
I didn't know if it was just once or not. Okay.
No, it's just every time until Gorge breaks concentration, which only happens if it's for a minute, so it's 10 rounds of combat,
Fair.
unless Gorge gets hit, and then she has to roll a check to see if it works and
great.
concentration.
Okay, so Molly just like winces in pain as the pick pierces through her shapely thigh. Goes, "Ah, you wee paper prick!" And gives another swing with the machete.
All right.
For a 21, 22, 23, 24, 25.
Yeah, that hits. All right. And damage?
Damage is D6. Nothing
6?
added to. Oh. Yeah.
You don't add
Okay.
bless to the damage.
Okay.
Yeah.
5.
5 altogether?
5 for number 5.
All right. He is really not looking so good at this point. But is still up and still clutching the pick. There's a little bit of a hole right through the side where the machete just kind of slices, and he has like like you get the edge and just pull, and it has a little cut in the side of the card, and it does bleed. Interestingly enough, even though it's paper, there's like a weird trickle of blood, which is bizarre, but it's Wonderland, so you're not sure how to expect that. Okay, and he is going to try to attack you again because he's working on this. And the plus. Oh, that's a 15 plus 4, 19.
Yep, that hits.
Okay, with a D8 is 8 damage.
Ow. Okay.
How are you looking, Molly?
I'm looking very badly hurt.
Okay, good enough.
Yes. And you do notice as you're fighting that they're bringing forward this one an 8 with this royal, like a robe almost draped over their shoulder, falling behind. So that is possibly medical attention. They did mention a cleric, but that is for later. In the meantime, 6 is going to go. Is going to run and try to. They're going to pull the flanking too. They're going to try flanking. So yeah, they're going to try. He's going to try to flank you, as well. Luckily he had that. 19.
Hits. Beat it, beat it.
Sorry. So he's gonna do, because he's flanking, he gets boom and boom. I believe it's 2d4. Yeah. Yes, 2d4 and plus a little boom. Okay, that's only one extra. So 6 plus 2. 8 points of damage.
Okay, thank you.
Boom. Yeah, he does 8 points of damage, and as he finally finds a little spot in the armor, and then he's gonna attack again. Oh, wow. Okay, he's doing really well. That's a 22 to hit.
That will hit.
Okay, so he's actually getting a little better. 10 points of damage.
Okay.
Yeah, he's getting in there. He actually finally finds the way your armor is, and he's just going for it. Then it's your turn, and now you're. So you and Molly are on each on one side of 5, and then 6 is around behind you, flanking you with 5. You're all in like a line.
Right.
Okay.
Molly cries out in pain as the pick this time goes right into her side, and she's like, "Oh, I'm getting turned into a bleeding pepper pot here." And
So
Yeah.
Gorge, seeing kind of this the cartoon, the tunes start to kind of like fizzle and bleed a little bit, is very disconcerting for her. So she's gonna slide around and do lay on hands. She's gonna dump all 15 into Molly.
Okay.
I'll take-
And if you slide around, I believe 6 will get an opportunity attack, but that's a 14. So
Cool. So yeah, and then she'll dump off it. She'll touch Molly and say, the inkwell has not yet run dry for you. Come back, and she'll dump 15 points of healing. And that will be the end. And then she kind of bangs her spear against the shield and says, "Hey, how about with that pick? You take another shot. Here we go." And she'll kind of like square up to the person. And that'll be the end of her
you're
turn.
squaring up against 5. Okay. So, Molly, you are now much healthier. There's a weird like whoosh of power over you, and you feel like the beginning to knit together as the hands touch you, and you do feel a little better. Something's going up. It does something cool. It's power, and I don't know if you've ever been magically Molly's ever been magically healed, but
I imagine
it's
probably at some point.
yeah. So you know magic healing. This is definitely magic healing, and it's very helpful. And you are squared up. So if okay, so if um, so um,
I'm shoulder to shoulder with Molly.
yeah, shoulder to shoulder. So you got and you have probably 6 behind you, a little ways away, and 5 right in front of you. And what's your plan?
It's Molly's.
Okay. I guess I'm going to just swing my machete one more time. And that is do we get a flanking bonus or?
You do. You get a advantage because you're flanking.
Oh, I
Okay.
have to
No, you're
roll
not flanking.
concentration checks.
Oh yes, you do have to roll concentration for the bless, and you don't get flanking because you're next to each other.
All right. Okay.
As opposed to each on either side.
Okay. In that case, I got
Bless drops. I rolled a 4.
15 again.
15 does hit. And the concentration checks for the bless
Bless drops.
drops. Okay,
3 points of damage.
3 points. Ooh, yeesh. Okay, he's not quite dead yet, but he is definitely. You kind of cut again, and like a whole chunk, like a triangle. You kind of go down from the other cut, and like a whole triangle of paper is just missing. And yeah, he's getting there. But he's determined, and also he kind of sees the cleric, kind of glances at you, sees the cleric, squares his shoulders up as best as possible with one folded back, and is going to go for a pick attack on you, which 17.
Yep, that hits.
Okay, and he gets a D8. Where's that? There's the D8. There's the D8. 4 points of damage.
Okay.
All right. And 6 is gonna it's gonna surge forward, and now that you're shoulder to yeah, because you were flanking.
Yep.
Oh no, you were flanking 5. So he's gonna. Yeah, he's plenty of movement. He's gonna run around. Or you come forward on the other. No, he was on the other side. So then you were flanking 5. So you came round, and he's gonna come around again and get behind you, and try for a stab A, which is 17.
Yes.
And
Knocks it
then
away with the shield.
he
Spear
is.
comes up.
Oh, I rolled 2 17s on advantage. So you know,
knock them both away
it's
with a spear. Comes
20
back up.
even. So yeah, it is. 2 of the same, which is 20, which I believe hits.
Hit. Yep.
Okay, let me get this and this one. 11 points of damage.
Okay. She looks bad.
Good to know. And it is 6, 5, 6. Yeah, he goes. Yeah, 5's gonna run. 5 went, 6 went. So it is your go.
Cool. We had gotten some health potions, right?
Oh yes, they did give you. She did give you one each. So
okay, so can I slug a healing potion with a bonus action, or is it an action?
yeah, I'll allow for that.
Okay, so I will do that. So that'll be 6 plus 2, 8. So she's looking a little bit better, and as the bottle comes down from her her gullet, she will drive the spear into the dude,
The one who's wounded?
attack the one who's very wounded.
Okay.
13 plus 5, 18.
That hits.
Okay. 4 plus 3 is 7.
Yeah, no, he's dead. He is, I mean, not quite. You shove him, you shove the spear through him and then pull it back and he just falls. And he kind of drifts a little bit in the wind. And you see the cleric run forward and catch him and pull him away.
And so kind of as a little bit of extra flavor, like a curry flavor, like as the spear goes through, like a bit of hellish fire sort of starts to break out and starts to catch the card on fire. And she wheels around quickly, just following the spear back over, and makes direct eye contact with the card behind her and says, "How are you feeling about your luck with those daggers?" And that will be the end of her turn.
And he kind of gives you a look, but he is yet to be injured. So he's kind of twirls the daggers and then they kind of pat the fire out, and you notice that the cleric is pulling him away. Two of the guards pull him away, patting the fire out to the cleric, who kind of begins to do a little bit of kind of holding the edges and drawing out the paper as to kind of mold it back together using some divine magic. In the meantime, it is Molly's turn again.
So where is numero 6 now?
Yeah, just numero 6.
Where exactly is 6 in
So
relation
he was
to us? What's he doing?
turned around on the other side of because he went around to be flanking. So he was just behind Gorge, who's standing next to you. So
Okay, that's fine. I'm just gonna sheath the machete and weak Barnabas out of hammer space again. Just reaching into her top, pulling out Barnabas, and just gonna try and finish this off, back away from the guy and try and shoot him again.
all right. Okay. He does get an attack of opportunity.
That's fine.
All right. It's 16.
Yeah, that hits.
Okay, and he doesn't get the extra.
He's
so
attacking Molly through me.
Yeah, as she's gonna try to back away.
That's okay.
Yeah, she's backing away to get a ranged shot in. So he's gonna kind of swing the knife around from your other side as she moves, because they're at a diagonal approximation. So that's 6 points of damage.
That's fine. And I get a 17 plus 7, which
Hits.
is a... Okay. And that is D12 damage. 12!
Oh, there you go.
Maxed out.
All right. He is... that's the first damage he's taken, but he does... yeah, he blasts through right in the spot, like between two of the cups on the 6, between the top two left ones, and just gets blowed out, and he's just, and this is the first time he's like eyes are wide, and he just breathes in, focusing, and is going to... He'd been focusing on Gorge because Gorge, and now he can't get flanking. He's gonna...
For the rest of my move, by the way, I'm just gonna keep backing away.
Gorge, is what he's gonna do.
You're gonna attack me or move away from me?
Attack. He's
okay.
He knows opportunity attacks are a thing. He just pulled one, so he's gonna go, but he has to roll 14.
Miss.
Yeah, he and he gets another less than 14. So he just he can't seem to get it without his friend on the other side to help him, and the knives just fly past you.
And so as she's sort of dodging out of these ways, she'll point the spear at him and say, "I was driven down from Celestia, and believe me, no one is going to deny me entrance to a court again." And will use her vow of enmity on this card. So she'll make her next attacks at advantage, or all the attacks for a minute against this target at advantage.
Okay, go for it.
Boom, boom. Oh god, a nat 1 and a nat 20. Thank you goodness, right?
Yeah, that's advantage. All right.
Cool.
So
And
for nat 20s, max damage, however much max with your spear would be.
okay, that'll be 9
plus whatever the dice would be.
plus a 1d6
Yeah, plus a d6, so 9 plus d6.
plus 5. So 14. And then she's going to kind of like, with this Akari energy that she's got in her bracelets, that will ring out, and she'll drive an extra 5 points of damage through using her fallen touch.
Fallen touch. Okay, extra 5.
Yep.
Still up.
And that's like this sickly, radiant but hellish fire that burns down through the spear across this wooden spear that seems to have somehow been treated and is not catching a flame, but goes into this card.
Yeah. And you can see the edges of the hole as he's punching. You kind of get on the lower, just under the hole, Molly's blunderbuss spade, and you pull back, and the edges start to smoke. And he kind of pats it quickly, and he doesn't catch, but it's starting to smoke and fray, and he's really not looking so good.
And so like you can like the huntress absolutely comes out in Gorge now, and so you see like fire burning and a ring in her eyes, and she'll circle around behind this this person so that Molly can take her shot.
Yeah, go for it. You're a little far back, so I don't think that flanking applies, but you can definitely take the shot. Go for it. His lower AC then.
Well, that was crap. That was a total of 10.
Yeah, he has lower AC, not that low. He spins, and you can see he's not wearing any mail the way his friend was, but he just spins and throws the knives. Does the throw and catch his knives, and he is gonna go. He's still gonna go for Gorge. He's gonna spin around and go for Gorge because, and you notice that the card, it's printed both sides, with the same design, and you can kind of see through because the hole. But yeah, he's gonna go, but he doesn't get advantage. Okay, so yeah, but he does have 2 shots, so he's gonna. Well, I don't think an 8's gonna or a 13 are gonna do it. All right, so he's gonna whoosh again, but he's not doing so well without the flanking. Like, and he's going for you, and he doesn't hit. So, he's gonna spin around, and that leaves you with a shot as he spins towards you and starts throwing the knives up, and they bang off your shield.
Yeah, and the spear goes underneath the stabs. Let's see here, still at advantage. Ding ding. Okay. Higher is 21.
Yeah, that's hits.
Max, so that's 9 damage.
9 damage. It's not max.
It's not max, but it
no.
Spear is 6 plus 3 for strength.
Oh, you rolled max. Okay, yeah. You rolled max. All right, that's fair then. Oh wow. Okay, he is really not looking so good, Molly.
So okay. Yep.
Oh, are you gonna do something else too?
I mean, I could dump if he's looking rough. I could dump another 5 into him. Another 5 of the fire.
Yeah, no, that you're gonna do it. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So he catches this time as you kind of slash through. He actually catches full on fire, and kind of like falls and starts like passing. And 2 of the guards run and grab him, and they're like their edges start getting fire, and they're trying to put them out and put him out, and the cleric just runs forward and grabs him, and they do manage to get the fire out quickly enough and just start cleaning up the edges with the healing magic, but it's a near thing. And the guard just turns to you a little bit freaked out because fire is, they don't do well with fire. And he just kind of blinks and welcome to the court, and just bows. Welcome to the court.
And she'll ring, and the bracelets will ring, and she'll say, "Thank you for being so accommodating. I'm so happy to be here."
And he kind of fluffs himself up, squares the shoulders best he can. Please come forward and meet the queen.
Thank
And
you.
He'll lead you up, and you see he leads you up through the doors, and you can see a lot of branching doorways, but he leads you up and into a throne room, essentially, with 4 aces standing, and then the king and the queen and the jack kind of set up on a podium with the king in the center, or the queen in the center, the king and the jack on either side. Hers is a little bit up from her. The thrones are on the same level, but hers is a little taller. And she kind of sits.
Is the priest gonna make us a little more presentable before we get in, rather than just walking in,
kind of comes
leaving
forward
ink everywhere?
And yeah, so she's got 2 first levels. She's gonna cast first level cure wounds on each of you.
Okay.
Because they did say you were gonna get some healing. So yeah, you each get a first level cure wounds. Yeah, she does come forward and kind of
I will bargain. I will say, well, that war pick is pretty nasty. Would you mind throwing a little bit more our way, please?
And okay, first she's gonna roll the 2 first levels, and then you're gonna roll a persuasion check. Okay, so for D8, so that's 8 for Gorge and 9 for Molly.
That'll do. That's Molly back up to 20, so that's all right.
And so I got a 13 for persuasion.
And she's kind of gonna look at you and say, I cannot only offer so much from the goddess, and honestly, you healed yourself mid-battle. Gonna kind of cock an eyebrow at that. Something I didn't see.
Okay. I didn't know it disqualified me from help at the end, but I appreciate your honesty and candidness.
Didn't you fash yourself about it, Gorge? Let's just get out of here. We're here to see the queen.
That's
true.
So
you guys
beast.
Do yeah, she did. She does offer you up, and then there's 2 heralds at the door, and as they're coming up, one of the guards, one of the 2's kind of what names should I use to announce you to the queen?
Molly.
Gorge, oh hey, how are you?
Gorge, oh hey, how are you? Interesting name. Molly, a second name?
Nah. She just says, I'm going to start smoking again with her perpetual cigarette.
Molly the monster hunter.
And so the young 2 runs up to the herald and kind of mutters something, and they blow 2 trumpets, and presenting before Her Majesty Queen of the Orange Cups, Gorge, oh hey, how are you? And Molly, nah. And you get led in up into the throne room and presented before the king, the queen, and the jack, and a bunch of
Mo-
aces kind of sticking around too.
Molly rolls
And
her eyes at the grandiose presentation, but says nothing and just saunters up to the as far as they are allowed, close to the throne.
yeah, the throne is up on a pedestal, and there is a set of stairs, but you kind of are stopped by a couple of eights at the bottom of the stairs.
Greetings.
And the queen kind of looks forward. Welcome to the court. I presume the two of you are seeking something to have fought through my guards. Quite an impressive fight from what I've heard.
It's all
Mm,
right.
Why, thank you so much, Your Highness. We are coming here because I think we have similar interests in a man that might be in a person that may be one of your wards at the moment.
Okay.
And
Roll very quickly. As you say that, roll a basic intelligence check.
uh 11.
All right. Good to know. So yeah, you say Your Highness, and she kind of leans forward. Majesty, and who might this mutual acquaintance be?
I wouldn't call him an acquaintance. I would call him an object of frustration. His name is what was his name?
Okay.
Catherine, Arthel, Othel,
Yes,
Awful,
awful.
Othel.
And as you say that, you see a flicker of concern pass over her face, but she quickly schools it. I see. And you were sent, and you say an object of concern. How so?
Well, he there's a contract that he didn't fulfill, and I have some bones to pick. Not literally, not like your guards, but just a friendly conversation that I need to have with him.
Okay. Um, roll a deception check. If you're pretending that you had deals with him.
Oh, I thought I was telling the truth. That's fine.
No,
Oh, it's a
I mean,
19 plus 3, 21.
okay. So you believe it. Okay, that's fair.
No, but whatever.
Oh, sorry.
Wasn't he the one who was collaborating with the professor to get my get my
yes,
fragment
there
back?
is that. He was also collaborating. He was. That is true.
Back lore drop.
Yeah, Lord Drop. He was actually collaborating. That was part of the negotiations. Well, it was part of the negotiations. There's more to it than that, but it was part of the negotiation. And
Molly just continues to let Gorge do the talking, smoking, and looking bored, but actually she's having a good look around the throne room and just trying to observe anything that might be interesting here while the
all right.
conversation's going on.
Um, roll an insight check
Okay.
if you're gonna kind of observe what's going on.
That is a 18 total.
So you do notice that a lot of the aces who kind of are settled are kind of scuffling their feet, like they're a little bit nervous, possibly,
Okay.
as you see that, and yeah, they're a little bit nervous.
And Your Highness, I would be happy to help your interests here in Wonderland, should it help us pursue our interests here in
And
Wonderland. I am very amenable to a mutual agreement.
and what are your interests in Wonderland, might I ask?
A conversation with Artel
I see. So he's the only reason you came.
I mean, we're being paid for it.
By whom?
His wife.
Ah,
She just raises her eyebrows.
um, she kind of nods. I think this requires further conversation.
I would love to engage in further dialogues with you, Your Highness.
Um, and she, um, uh, kind of, um, waves her hand, and all of the eights bow, and they file out. And you say that, and 110, who's been standing behind her, stays, um, and they close the door behind them as they file out, and the heralds as well, leaving you just with the one bodyguard and the royal family. And several of the aces, they all flank inward a little bit and stand right around the throne. Um, and she kind of nods. All right. So, you came seeking Arthur Cuthlon, yes?
Yes.
That's the one.
Arthur Cuthlon was a business partner of sorts.
Okay.
There were two things that he wanted. One was better access to certain confections. I have connections to other realms and was bringing in certain imports that are more difficult to obtain in the mortal plane. He, having discovered a portal, was willing to uh, do business. Several of my barons were pleased with this, and they were working out and negotiating a deal. The other point of interest he had was some artifact or other that, well, it was gifted to the Green Swords after it proved useless, but that is neither here nor there. The main problem with all that is that how much do you know about the Red Hearts?
I am excited to learn, Your Highness.
They're a nasty bunch. Duplicitous, double crossing. If I were the Red Queen, I would have had all of their heads by now. Fortunately, they seem to elude me. The red cards, it was two assassins snuck in at some hour or another. I'm sure it was the red hearts. No one else would dare. Blue crosses are not foolish enough to double cross me. And the green swords, we have a tenuous alliance, and they know better than to destroy the alliance, given the power that I wield. So, that would leave the red hearts, possibly. I suppose the blue swords might have been in on it, but that, or the orange skulls, possibly, but the orange skulls are under my control. The Baron of Orange Skulls is a liege lord of mine, and the blue swords are, while they are up and coming, I highly doubt they're going to risk the blue crosses enmity for I'm pulling an alliance. They shouldn't. The red hearts, oh, they'll pull any sort of trouble. Not worth having at all. Duplicitous, lying, murderous. Kind of takes a deep breath. So, the Red Hearts, I have it on good authority that the Red Hearts were behind this. He went missing. He was staying as a guest in the guest chamber, and he was no longer there in the morning after the second day of negotiations.
So I want to hear. So like what like. So kind of being used to being deceived by people in power, she's gonna kind of look at the as the queen is saying all this to try to read if this is like, am I being fed a line here?
Oh, is she lying? Roll an insight check.
Oh, 3.
Maybe.
Molly is also obviously observing her behavior while she
Yeah.
lets Gorge do most of the talking.
I mean, she really does not like the Red Hearts.
Nope, that's pretty much obvious. I didn't get any better. So
Yeah. So,
but
you
what
can tell
she is
really does
gonna
not like
what
the
she
Red
is gonna
Hearts.
do is frown and interrupt briefly and just say, "Hang on a minute. You said they sent an assassin. How do you know it was an assassin? Is he dead or is he not dead?"
He is neither. He might very well be dead, but he is not there.
So when you said assassin, that's just because that's what you think the Red Hearts would do. Kill someone
The
in
Red
your
Hearts
court.
have numerous assassins and all sorts of things, and they are not afraid to use them. However, there was no body.
How did this supposed invader or assassin manage to get past your incredibly skilled and talented watchful guards?
And you notice she frowns at this. Well, it's possible that there was a little bit of a gap in the walls. There was blood when they fed the Merlings in the morning. There was more blood than not. And the assassins have a nasty habit of getting into places they're not supposed to be.
Merlings, that's those weird purple and orange things in your moat.
Yes.
Who was on shift that night, Your Highness? Who was your head of security that night?
We had Boric, Ethic, Nilek, and Tor.
And who among them do you count as your who has the best favor of the throne?
Tor, I would say he is a 3. The others are all 2s.
Mm-hmm. And so this gap in the wall, as you say, was it planned? Is it just a moment? Is there an attack that caused this hole in the wall, or what happened? Why was there a hole?
I have not been able to. Our engineers have not been able to find, but they found it patched. They can't explain it, but it was patched.
So you believe the hole to have been cut into the wall?
Almost certainly.
And how long ago was this?
Am I what?
How long ago was this?
Oh, well, this is the second day of negotiations. So, 4 days ago.
Well, there's no time to waste. If we want any chance of catching up with their trail, we should probably go.
What were your I'm assuming you have hunters and huntresses. What direction did they Did they see was there a path leading off? Did the blood trail off in a direction?
No, but of course it was the red hearts, and the red hearts are not particularly far,
Okay.
just up along the close edge of the um, blue heart swamp that surrounds the blue crosses and the blue hearts and the blue swords. They're on the close side, with along with the red circles.
Okay. So the red hearts share a shore on the swamp with the blue circles
Yes.
and what was the other house?
The blue crosses.
So the
And the blue
blue
swords.
circle and the blue crosses.
The
Okay.
blue swords have two liege houses. The blue crosses have two liege houses. The blue swords and the blue circles.
Huh.
Did you try to enter in any sort of negotiations with these red hearts?
The red hearts simply sent whoever took him left a note.
Oh,
Ah,
can we see this note?
and as soon as you say that, she kind of hesitates. Are you offering to find him?
I mean,
Yes.
we kind of need to ourselves, so if it would help you, then it helps us too. So any help you can offer would be helpful for us as much as it would be for you.
I very much agree with what my friend's saying.
Kind of keeps taps her chin. Merlin. And one of the aces steps forward. Take these two. Show them the room.
Okay.
And the two of you are led.
Can I ask the queen one last thing
Sure.
before we go? Your Highness, do you have any connections or friendly folks within the Court of the Red Hearts that we might leverage to gain access?
Kind of hesitates. Roll a persuasion check.
Oh, 9.
She kind of shakes her head. I would not do any dealings with those duplicitous freaks.
Your Highness, you have painted them in an odious light, and I assure you, the rage with which I struck down your guards will be the same that I bring to that of the hearts.
You took down a 5 and a 6. Two talented soldiers, yes, but hardly the most trusted. But I take your meaning, and I should hope that you will be able to do well with that.
So let's have a look at this room then, Molly says. Smoking.
All right.
Bored.
And one of the aces kind of comes forward, and he leads you, Merlin.
Hey Merlin, what do you make of this? What do you think happened?
And he kind of hesitates. Well, they obviously had some ulterior motive. The Red Hearts are not random. They have schemes within schemes, as always. And so they did not take him just to make things difficult for us. I'm almost certain. They have plans beyond that. And they were, of course, involved in our dealings with Oz as well. Or rather, they were purposely antithetical to our dealings in Oz. We're the only two houses with such connections, mind you. The Blue Crosses know better than to muscle in, neither do their lieges, and the Green Swords we have an understanding with.
Wait, what's all this about Oz?
So it would almost certainly be the that it has something to do with their dealings in Oz. What, I cannot say. The Red Queen's motives are capricious occasionally. They have a secondary deal with somebody, almost certainly. What that deal is, I can't say.
Okay.
But
you said the blue
I
they
know that
often
he had connections on the outside as well.
So what's this Oz place and what's their
Arthur
interest
Tuffon
with
is
that?
not. He had connections, I'm sure of it. And it could very well be. He's not the only one to discover a portal into Wonderland, you know. He found the most stable, obviously. But he's not the only one. And there are other players at work. Could very well be a secondary contract with someone on the outside that they're hoping to oblige. But surely you know of all those contacts, of course.
Of course.
If you're so seeking them.
Yes, absolutely. Much happens here. Much happens. So are we at the room?
Okay. I think we're having some sort of technical difficulty. Because then I could not hear just anything you just said.
Check.
Yeah, okay.
Hello.
Oh, it's on my end. All right, I'm going to have to do one very quick thing.
What?
Yeah.
Break's good for me.
Break is great. So kind of pulling Molly away from the discursive mage card, she'll say, this seems like a mess. There's a lot of
a real mess. I don't think we should concern ourselves with too much with politics unless it actively comes up. I'm sure something's going to come up sooner or later with this, but right now we should focus on trying to track down where he actually went to.
Yeah, let's see if we can follow, if they maybe they can give us some information about where the blood led off, or where that they believe it went towards a swamp, and maybe there's a way that we can pick up on the trail there.
We get paid even if he's dead, right?
I think so.
Oh, well, that's all right then.
Yeah.
You do get paid in partial if he's dead. You get more if he's alive, but you do get paid partially if he's dead.
So we were actually looking to take our break.
Oh, yes, that is a very good idea.
Cool.
Yeah, given that, yeah, it's so we have an hour and a half left. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so how long are we going to do break for? 5 minutes? Yeah,
sounds great. Thank you.
All right.
Great.
All right, everyone. Welcome back. Uh, so we're just getting back from the break. We have our our intrepid two of our intrepid heroes were left in were let into the keep of the Queen of Orange Cups, who uh gathered them before the throne, and they explained they were looking for Arthur Cawthon, and she said he was missing, and she believes he was taken by the Red Hearts, who there's a lot of enmity between the two houses, very obviously. And she sent one of her younger sons, one of the aces named Merlin, to show these two the room where he was staying, in hopes of some insight into his kidnapping and what was going on. They did leave a note, and uh, if I recall correctly, the um, uh, Gorge was explaining something to Merlin, and that was exactly when we had technical difficulties. And as a DM, I couldn't hear any of that. So, um, uh, yeah,
Yeah, so I just think
but
that she
the
was
two of
just
you are
verifying her.
flanking him on either side, and he's showing you down the corridor. And you find the guest room. You come before. It's a um, uh, it's gilded, um, with gold, um, in the shape of cups, um, and it's very well decorated with a golden handle, painted white, just a really fancy door. And he kind of gestures and said, "This is our guest quarters. We have a few others. If you want to stay for a little bit." Uh,
See.
Thank you for the offer, Merlin.
given that you've been given entry, well, in
Can
any
you
case,
hear us?
I suppose that's a no.
So
They really like sticking to their theme here, Molly says, scratching at the gold leaf on the door. See if it comes off.
it is it is interesting. My interaction with the two-dimensional among us, it's been about as long as I've known you, Molly, and I'm still a little bit intrigued by it. It's it kind of rattles my brain, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, can't fit you mean. I was the same when I first went to Toonheim. It's a weird place.
Can
okay.
only imagine.
But do come in. And this should be the last of this because I know exactly what it caused.
Molly kind of saunters through the door, still smoking, looking around casually. All the fancy furnishings.
Yeah, it
Gorge
is very
will ask
fancy.
Merlin to go in first.
And he kind of nods and comes in first and kind of gestures for you to follow.
Okay.
And the door does not explode. There's no traps or any kind of skullduggery. And yeah,
That
the
they
first
laid.
part is a sitting room with these big, beautiful green couches, very plush, and a nice table and side tables and a front table. And if you and he kind of beckons. He says, "The second room is the bedroom. It's a suite, and along with a bathroom, of course. And so he leads the two of you in and opens and kind of points to the door to the bedroom. This one was open when we first came in, and it should be quite obvious. It was quite obvious someone had come in through something. I believe, and he kind of beckons you through here. And he kind of opens the door to the bathroom, and it's pretty basic. It's got a toilet, it's got a sink, it's got a really nice bathtub, and he kind of points upward. See this window here?
Yes.
This one was left ajar. I believe he felt it hot inside or something. But if you leave the windows open, then anyone can get in. And you notice that the gap in the window is about 2 inches, maybe.
But they can. But they're
Cards.
yeah. Cards. Yeah.
Exactly. So they can go through underneath door frames and things. And
Molly hops
yes.
up to see how easy it is for her to squeeze through as a toon. Just kind of sticks her whole front end through and then like kind of wiggles herself and just kind of like her oversized ass is kind of wiggling about as she squeezes her way through to have a look on the other side.
Yeah, because you're a toon, you have the same kind of squeezing ability, and so you can poke your head out, and it is on the ground floor. So but the way the castle's built, it actually is about a 15-foot drop down to the base.
Worth it was there. So Merlin, she'll look at Merlin and say, "Was there any evidence of like that climbing gear had been used? Like, are there chips in the rock outside?"
Climbing gear. I believe they found hooks on the wall, but that could be anything, you know.
Well, that would do it. I'm gonna have another like proper look around for any potential clues, I guess.
So you see a small bag placed to the side. It's got a dop kit, clothes. You can see, clothing, similar to a style that you saw in other parts of Goodnam. So probably, his clothes.
Probably Arthos.
What?
Probably Arthos clothes.
Yes, Arthos clothes, almost certainly. And you do also notice that there's a sketchbook, a sketch, signed by the professor, and it is, it shows a harness with studded with gemstones and encircled in the back, and you would know that this is Gorge would know that this is it's rumored. Now you don't have any certainty on this. Things are variant, but it is rumored to be the one. This is what you were looking for. This is the artifact that you were looking for, and there's a picture of it among his things. And
is there anything else of note in the sketchbook? Molly just sits down on the bed and starts leafing through it while smoking.
A lot of you notice a lot of drawings. The sketch if you sketch through, it becomes very apparent that it wasn't drawn by him. It isn't his style. And he also signs AC at the bottom of a lot of them, and they're not particularly good, but you can see like, skill lifes, certain things. There's one of his wife. It's not great, but you can kind of tell it's her posing. And yeah,
Gorge takes a mental snapshot.
Yeah, she is there is one of her topless, but with the but yeah, it's interesting, fairly well done, but not great. You can tell that he's still trying. The harness, though, is a very different style, and there's also 2 more of that same style drawn in the back. The harness is on the last page,
Mhm.
And then there are two others. A like a almost like a circlet um with a kind of how to explain the design a kind of with like circles around it like a fountainy design almost in the front, and the other is a um a bracelet that was yeah, a bracelet that had three little skulls on it, and they're also drawn in the back. uh,
So, she would turn to Merlin
hmm.
and say, "Hey, Merlin,
Mhm.
I'm a. Do you like art, Merlin?"
He kind of blinks. I mean, I learned to paint as part of our training, but um, I'm quite skilled actually.
You
Would you
are.
know who drew these three then?
Oh no, I didn't. I wouldn't have presumed to. He kind of blinks. Oh, that the harness. That was well, you know how it is. Uh, the Blue Crosses had a deal, um, and it was a trade of information. They had some intel on the Red Hearts. We reciprocated with by agreeing to some sort of deal. Then we had, of course, the a little bit on the Green Swords, but nothing too compromising. Of course, there are our allies, but you have to keep your options open.
So, how
Uh,
does this harness fit into this deal?
oh yes, he knew a few. The Red Hearts were working with somebody who had taken well, they procured these artifacts, and the Blue Crosses had taken one of them in payment and wanted to pawn it off. They wanted in exchange a handful of I don't remember exactly, but it came to us as part of a few things.
So, what you're saying
Uh,
is, if whoever drew this harness probably did these other two drawings, do you think these are some sort of magical artifact as well?
oh, most certainly. The Blue Cross does well. The Blue Swords, almost certainly, mostly traffic and that sort of thing. The Blue Crosses tend to have well, anyway. Um, but yes, I would imagine they. I have no idea. I have never seen either of those. The
So,
harness, though, was briefly in our possession, but um my father, the king, he convinced my mother that it would be prudent to, given our alliance with the Green Swords, send the harness to them. So,
was there anyone else who wanted the harness?
not particularly. Uh,
Everyone really loved the deal that you made with the Blue Crosses.
well, the intel we got in exchange for the other intel was useful. The Blue Crosses are, well, you know how it is. They're
I
a
don't.
mixed bag. They hold contacts with questionable people in the mortal realm. More contact than anyone has with the mortal realm. Obviously, the Red Hearts have their fingers in several pies there, and we have our contact both with Arthur Cuthlon, since deceased, and others as well. Uh,
Did you just say since deceased?
well, presumably, I mean, he's not here. I wouldn't trust the Red Hearts to keep him alive necessarily, since missing.
Insight the F check.
Okay, yeah,
Please.
insight.
17.
Um, from what you gather, he just kind of spoke without thinking, and he
Ah,
doesn't like have any like he just believes that why would they keep him alive? Like he's just thinking of the worst. He's kind of so you realize that when he says that, like he's just assuming the worst. He
Your
has
ma
no.
said that he was also interested in having this harness thing.
Oh
Might
yes,
it
he mentioned it. A favor for a friend, something along those lines.
might it not
But
be possible that he's gone off to find this?
oh, the note. And he kind of um beckons them in to the bedroom. Yeah, you're in the
okay,
bedroom,
we following.
and he kind of pokes. On the other side of the night table, there's a note. We didn't touch it, obviously. It's probably poisoned. I'd be careful if I were you. Um,
Molly
the red
just
hearts are
grabs the
known to
note.
poison things, touch sensitive poisons, not um,
Molly just
nothing
grabs
like.
the note and reads it.
Ah, okay. You grab the note. It is not touch sensitive poisoned, so luckily you don't die. But it does. It does. It is. It's there's a red heart on the corner,
Okay.
and the note says, "We know your tricks, and we will counter them." And it's got the red heart signed with the red heart.
What do you think this means? Sorry, what do you think this means? She taps
Uh,
the actual words. What tricks could that
well,
possibly be? She says, squinting at him. I'm going to
uh,
observe him very closely and what he says
um,
next.
and kind of nods. Well, you know how it is.
N-
The skill, I suppose, that allowed my mother to create the contacts in Oz. The Red Hearts have been gunning for similar contracts and haven't been able to do it. Although, given they said countering, I would imagine they intend something of the sort.
So this beef that your ma has with these red hearts, is it all come back to some sort of trade rivalry with Oz?
I well, there's always been enmity. Even before we began with Oz, it didn't start there.
But
Uh, well, it's quite possible that they got into their involvement with Oz because they knew we did as well.
right. Could you just give us a wee minute alone with my friend Gorge here?
And he kind of closes his eyes, and she frowns. I suppose it wouldn't hurt.
We would
I'll
so
just
Look,
greatly
do you want us to find
appreciate
your
it.
guest or not? Because, like, if we're going to find your guest, we need to have a proper poke around here and we need to talk about
um,
this.
and he kind of blinks. Well, obviously, you would go to the Red Hearts and demand him back.
Yes, but how will we do that as neutral people, or as secretly on the side of y'all, but as seemingly neutral folks?
Well, uh, I mean, I suppose if he'd, if you are, you said his wife was concerned with him, yes? You could go into
I
that,
am particularly concerned with him.
huh? On what grounds?
That's none
Does
of
he
your
have?
business, sunshine. Now, look, I can tell you're not the brightest card in the pack, so to speak, but we've got a job to do and you're kind of cramping our style a little bit. So why don't you run
He's
along
kind of
back to
huffed.
mother and tell her that we'll just do our wee thing here and then we'll be out of your hair and on the road again and we'll come back with Mr. Cuthrose and possibly some more information that might be useful to your ma about your red heart rivalry.
He kind
Sound
of
good?
he frowns. leans forward. Why don't you tell me what you find about the red hearts? I'll
Oh,
stand outside the door and let you have your moment. But you should tell me what you find out about the red hearts.
About your mother.
I'll pass along the information to her, obviously.
sure.
Ah, okay.
We
We'll
close the
consider
door
that.
on him.
And he kind of does leave and stands outside the outer door, rooting. Probably you're not sure, but he's
Go,
out of your hair.
so Molly just leans in close to Gorge and just like whispers, "I'd only trust that one as far as I could throw him, which would be quite far given that he's just made a card."
Yeah, he's quite a strange. This is all very strange. They really do not like these Red Heart folks, but for some reason it feels too straightforward.
Can I ask, you said you were kind of interested in that harness. What's that all about?
Well, the professor and I had a bit of an agreement. You see, when they cast you down from the celestial realm, and she'll shake off and kind of wiggle the wing stubs underneath. Uh, some people will try to take your halo from you, and I was able to keep most of mine, but I want the rest of it, and I want it back. And this professor is supposed to be helping me, and I can't very well have him do it. He's not doing a very good job while he's indisposed or dead. So
But what's that got to do with the harness?
there are I'm sure there's a series of trades that need to be made with different underworld connections for me to get
Ah,
back what I need, because angel dust and halo fragments are, I'm sure, just about as legal in Genesis uh as the rest of you know enhanced butter.
I see. So it's a whole mad fetch quest malarkey, is what you're
It
saying.
I am profoundly frustrated with the academic nature by which we are approaching this, and I am ready to have my halo whole once again.
I mean, I
Uh,
guess I can understand that.
can so this note, can we sit here for like 5 or 10 minutes and just kind of make sure that there's not anything secret written on it, or see if we can try to make
Oh,
sure it
yeah,
looks
like you can
real?
examine any kind of examination spells or tracking or whatever you want to do. You guys can hang out as long as you need.
We'll try
Okay,
the
so
old lemon juice trick, make sure
yeah,
that use
let's.
my cigarettes to heat underneath, make sure there's no words written in lemon juice or anything like that.
Yeah.
Um, um, uh, you do at the very bottom there is a uh, a little a note, and it says, "Thanks for the chink," and it's got a little the gap. Thanks for the gap, and it's got a little winky face.
Thanks for the gap.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And it's a different handwriting than the other.
Uh, does any of the handwriting on either parts of the note match any handwriting that might be in the sketchbook?
Oh no,
Okay.
All right.
yeah, no,
Then
it's
Gorge will look around the bedroom, because he's a full size human, so
right.
they didn't card him out the way that he did. So there has to be something else.
Very true. Um, uh, yeah, you do notice uh um uh there is a window, and that one has a higher gap, larger gap rather. And the window is by the bed, and you can kind of see it's probably been uh um yeah, and it's slightly larger, not large enough for a person to get through per se, but but more than a card's worth.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of scraping uh, um, on the wall, as if something was kind of scrambled up. But you know, um, there's
Take a
also
look.
a little bit of scuffling. One of the tables is cut, and there's like a little bit of pressure in the rug, like someone was struggling.
Okay, so there's signs of a struggle.
Signs of a struggle. And there's a few drops of blood forming a trail, but it immediately stops. And it ends with like a larger splatter as if it came down from a higher height, and then gone.
Can we collect some of this?
Some of his blood, sure. It's
Cool.
dried onto the carpet, but you know, a little warm water. You have water skins. You can take a blood sample if you want
Great.
it for nefarious purposes.
Yes, the most nefarious.
And while Gorge is doing that, I'll take a peek out of this other window and see what can be seen from there.
Yeah, you find there's a little hole, a small hole that the kind of thing a python might fall in. But and some trampled bushes at the bottom, but not much else.
Okay.
Can we study? Is there evidence of multiple footfalls on the bushes? Is there like two different sets, like card size and human size?
Investigation check.
My biggest strength. My goodness. Oh yeah. 3.
It's hard to say.
Can I, if we're looking at tracks, can I not roll survival?
You could roll a survival. Yeah, you'd have to go down there, mind you.
Okay, yeah. Well, I guess we'll. Is there anything else in here where we want? Do you think, Gorge, or should we?
I want to look like under the bed and under the tables and like
Okay,
any
we'll do that
bedside
first.
drawers.
You do find a small it's a weird little golden horn.
Horn or corn?
Horn. Like a you know, have a cornucopia where they have the big, it's like that, but very, very small and made of gold.
Like a symbol of some deity, perhaps, or something.
Perhaps. It does have a little gem in it, but there's that. It's kind of sitting under the bed.
Can I roll a religion check?
Sure.
21.
21. It's not a symbol associated with any particular god. However, it is the sort of thing clerics tend to. You've known clerics to have them around, but they're not a. It's more of a magic focused thing than a symbol of any particular god.
Okay.
Why does that cornucopia ring a bell? Did his missus mention something about a cornucopia?
You could roll an Arcana check if you want.
Okay. Not much chance of it, but let's give it a go. That was cocked. 2.
No. It's just a pretty little thing.
Okay. Interesting. So, a cleric.
Maybe the professor will know more about this.
And this isn't something we don't know Athlon to be magic wielded in a divine way.
It's not just a cleric thing, I will say.
Do we know Athlon to be a caster of sorts?
Athlon, no. Almost certainly not. Like maybe he has a cantrip or two, but
nothing that would use this.
But he's not. Yeah, no.
So Molly's frowning the whole time, and she's like, "I'm sure I heard or saw something about a cornucopia before. Never mind. Like the professor will probably know more about this. I wonder how they're
Yeah.
doing outside. Hope they're not
Oh,
getting into any trouble.
I'm sure it stinks out there. I'm sure we chose the better thing.
Huh.
Um. So yeah. So what else?
I think that's it.
Anything?
If we've looked under in every nook and cranny
Yeah.
of the
That
room.
that'll be about it. I would just kind of on the way out, I would just run the word. Hey, does the word cornucopia mean anything to you? And say that to Merlin. Tell us everything you know about
Um,
cornucopia.
Corna, it's a traditional harvest thing I've heard in on every 17th Thursday. There's a whole festival. Obviously, you know how that goes. But it's one of the Tweedles things. But and of course the Jabberwock always comes. They have this whole hunt thing, but it's not. You know, they hold the cornucopia. It's a symbol of harvest, and then every alternating um rainy day they have, of course, the rain, but that's a whole. It's a similar shape, presumably, and you know,
Who typically organizes the festival?
the Tweedles.
The Tweedles do.
Yes,
And the
I would
Tweedles
imagine.
are friends the of your highness?
I mean, no, they're their own.
Independent actors.
Yes.
Right.
Hmm. Interesting.
Well, we didn't find too much in there, but I want to have a wee look at the outside the window. That's all right with
Sure.
you?
Yes.
Maybe show us the way.
Which of the windows? There were two.
The bedroom one, not the bathroom one. We already looked at there.
Of course. That would be on the grounds. Let me show you.
Let's follow him.
Mm-hmm.
Um. Yeah. Uh. Yeah, and you follow him down, and he leads you out a side door into the gardens. It's fairly average looking. You do see the trampled bush, and he kind of points up to the window. I believe this is the window. The trampled bush is interesting. It didn't lead anywhere. We weren't able to figure out much about it, but I assumed it was the assassins messed it up when they were leaving.
Well, stand back. I'll be the judge of that.
And
Okay,
Now
roll a
I will do
survival
my
check.
survival roll.
and I'll kind of like look for like scraps of clothing or anything that might have got caught up.
All right, you roll a perception. What'd you roll for survival?
Just 10.
Um, there might have been tracks at one point, leading off, but there's others intersecting. Like there are creatures in this garden. You do notice several large hounds is the wrong word. They're definitely domesticated creatures that kind of wander around in the garden. They kind of come and sniff at you a little bit. Seem pretty docile, but they do walk around in the garden, and therefore footprints are not. You see a lot of their tracks and not a lot of other tracks. Like you kind of get a little bit into the garden, like you see other tracks, and then they're completely scuffed. There's no way you could figure out.
I've known a few folks like you, Monster Slayer, Monster Hunter. Are you able to chat with beasts like these?
Why would I want to talk to the thing I'm going to kill? That just makes it harder to kill them.
I mean, I understand
She
that.
just looks confused.
No, that sounds like a no.
No.
Oh, that stinks. So do these stay out at night?
The creatures? Yes, they have a small house, a shelter. The
Mm-hmm.
uh twinkle toes, they're sweet beasts, and he kind of pets one of them, and scratches their chin.
Are they
Um,
just pets then? They don't serve as any sort of security or anything like that?
oh no, they wouldn't. They're very docile. Couldn't.
You might want to look into getting some actual guard dogs.
Uh, Kind of tilts his
Might
head.
have saved you a lot of
Guard,
trouble.
but dogs. That's a creature from the material plane. Yes.
Aye, that's the one.
And hounds. Hounds that guard things.
Aye,
Mm-hmm.
you can get them. Lots of people
I
keep them.
suppose you would have to. I mean, the Red Queen's hounds are hunting, but I doubt they would be able to protect anything. You'd need to bring them in from the mortal realm, presumably.
Oh, the Red Queen has hounds.
Oh yes, not the Queen of Red Hearts, the Red Queen, not the Queen of the Red Hearts, obviously.
Okay.
The Blue Queen does too, I believe.
Hmm. But the Orange Queen does not.
Oh, the Queen of there's no Orange Queen. There's the Queen of Orange Cups.
And she
I
lacks
see.
hounds.
No, only none of the cards' houses have hounds. That would be uncouth.
Ah, so sorry to offend. Um, I'm learning
No,
so
the hounds
much with
are.
you, Merlin. I appreciate you. Thanks.
When I say the Red Queen, I do not mean the Queen of Red Hearts. You do know that, right?
We gathered. You mean the
Yes.
chess queen, right?
Yes,
Okay, got it.
the one who lops off the heads. She has macabre fascination with lopping off heads.
I don't mind it. I prefer a good puncture wound, however. It just warms my soul, you know?
And he kind of blinks. Yes,
Wonderful.
of
I
course.
appreciate that about you, Merlin. What kind of how do you prefer?
I prefer having someone else do the killing.
Ah, cool. Because it would be uncouth.
Yes, of someone of my station. I do have martial training, as per prescribed, but given the circumstances, I think. What does my father say? It's better to uh, have someone else on the other end of the blade, because then they're the ones at the other end of the other blade.
Hmm. What's your weapon of choice? What were you trained in, Merlin?
The halberd, obviously. It's
Obvious.
a tradition among cards. Um, the royalty, the print, the jack, and you can hear. He is the best halberds. We could never beat him in a duel. None of us could.
Right. So, you said you wanted us to come to you with any information we find out on our
That would be
adventure
useful. Yes.
before your mother.
Yes. If you would be so inclined, I could. Kind of leans forward. Make it worth something to you.
Go on.
Well, favor in the. I can pull strings for favor. Uh, One of the um, tens in the Court of the Green Swords owes me, and I could absolutely pull strings with her if you needed things of the sort. The harness, you were interested in that.
Mm-hmm.
It was given to the Court of the Green Swords. If you would attend in that, she's fairly high up. She could perhaps help.
Okay, well, not promising anything, but we can see what we can do.
Am I picking up any illusion magic on Merlin?
Illusion magic. No.
Okay.
Cutthroat political intrigue vibes. Yes. Illusion? No. Is exactly just a card. An
And
ace, actually.
so I reach over and pat him on the back.
Um yes.
The tactile sensation makes sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
He's the card very card like. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Just plain old card. He kind of recalls back at that. Kind of gives you a nod. He's not used to being touched, especially not camaraderie kind of touching.
Never been touched.
Never been touched. The Merlin story. I think we need Merlin. Merlin, is there any lovely lady cards that you keep your
and he
company
turns
with?
bright red. Well, you know how she is. She's and we yes, but it's very my mother would not approve.
Is it uncouth?
Very.
Oh. I'm also uncouth.
He kind of blinks. Oh, no, forgive me, but I could never. That is to say, you are. There's no between us. It would be not even uncouth. Simply were you interested?
I'm always interested in meeting other uncouth people.
He just blinks. It's more than a matter of it's more a matter of practic. That is to say, we use each other, but we know we use each other, and there of course is the understanding between us and the layers. The affairs in the court are very. I don't know if you would understand.
Okay, I think I've already heard more than I ever wanted to about this. Gorge, I think maybe you should probably just leave this one. You don't want to get yourself a paper cut.
I am so intrigued by this, but I will be very excited to meet your friend in the Court of Green Swords.
And he kind of blushes a little bit. Yes, friend. Yes.
Wonderful. I'm so excited to make her acquaintance. How might we indicate to her that we are friends of Merlin?
Oh, I can give you here. And he kind of he has a small note, and he draws an M in the middle with a small goblet. This should be you know how it is. And he kind of rips off the corner. Give this to her.
Wonderful. And they'll.
Do you have any message for your lady friend? Should we encounter her?
Are you going to the Court of the Green Swords then?
I mean, it looks like we might be, at least at some point soon.
She has a bit of a swirl on the edge. She got her edge done, you know. It's actually, it looks very, very good. Her edge piece. It has a little heart, flower. You could tell her. Well, you could tell her what you will, but that's how you'll recognize her.
Wonderful.
See, you're a smooth operator with the ladies, Merlin.
He kind of. I suppose they could say that.
Anyway, much delightful as this has been, I really think we should probably start making preparations to take this investigation elsewhere. What do you think, Gorge?
I believe that is a great observation.
Didn't he happen to have a map or something like that that would be helpful for us, or
Yeah.
Yes, I'll come
few
with me.
supplies?
Yes, come with me. And he leads you back around to the throne room again. And he kind of slips in and then opens the door and beckons you through. Um, talks to Harold a little bit, but they're standing a significant distance away, far enough away that they're very much I'll roll it. They're far enough away they're not eavesdropping, but roll a perception check real quick.
20.
They were
10.
definitely eavesdropping. They kind of pop back out when they see Merlin coming. They definitely were eavesdropping.
Who?
The two heralds, the sevens who were blew the trumpets and announced you.
So the door that this guy just slipped under.
Not slipped under. He opened it for you.
Oh.
He opened the door to the throne room
okay.
for you, and the heralds are standing like well outside of it, but they were eavesdropping and they just ran out to.
That
So-
seems kind of par for the course. Nosy heralds. It's kind of their job
Yeah.
to be a bit nosy.
Yeah. Could so cards can just slip under.
Oh, cards
These
can slip
doors?
under doors, but they wouldn't dare into the throne room because it's the throne room. It's a whole vibe. But they were kind of probably listening in at the door, and then
Wonderful.
jumped back away from it to look like they weren't listening in at the door, kind of deal.
Hey,
With
handsome number 7. How are you?
And he kind of blinks. My lady, I did
What
you
is
want
it? The
something?
first time you've seen someone in 3 dimensions?
He kind of frowns. No, but we don't usually have visitors,
Oh,
and the visitors
okay.
don't usually speak with. And at this point, Merlin is kind of like trying to get you through the throne room door.
I think Molly just sighs and kind of drags Gorge. Like,
Okay, all right,
with
all right,
her
I'll go.
At this point.
But yeah, you come back through, and the queen and some of the aces are talking, and they turn, and the jack kind of says, "It took you long enough," and kind of looks at Merlin, and Merlin clears his throat. These two wanted to investigate thoroughly. I aided them in that, as was my duty. And there's a little snippiness there, but he leads you forward to the queen, and the queen kind of puts her hands together. So what what news do you have?
Well, there's definitely nefarious shenanigans going on.
I gathered
Uh,
as much.
We'll be prepared to investigate that for you.
Excellent.
But we could do with a few supplies, maybe a map.
Supplies.
Some potions.
Yes. Do you intend to go to the queen, the court of the Queen of Red Hearts?
Absolutely.
All right. I suppose you won't have any trouble getting there. There's no natural hazards. Although, I mean the Tweedles, but they can be fobbed off easily.
Have you ever hired the Tweedles for anything?
Hired them?
Yeah,
Why would I hire the Tweedles?
they're small. They play checkers. Maybe you needed a checker expert.
No, it's far too close to chess.
Understandable and reprehensible. I'm sorry I would even suggest it.
Kind of looks. The Tweedles are. They can be useful, I suppose, in certain circumstances, but
Do any houses find more use of them than others?
Yes, there are rumors to that effect, but I wouldn't know.
Wonderful.
Right, well, any help you can offer us would be just dandy.
Yes, a map, and she beckons Elma, come forward. And another one of the aces. This one fairly feminine, although you notice that it's entirely facial features that mark them apart. Uh, Something interesting. Uh, there's very little anatomy that you can notice. But
Molly doesn't even want to think about card anatomy,
um,
such as it might be. She just stands there smoking, waiting for a map.
yes,
something
Elma
else.
comes forward and pulls out. She has a satchel, and she pulls out a piece of paper and begins to mark. She puts kind of frames it as draws a small cup and says, "Oh, we're here. To the east are the skulls, the orange skulls. The Baron is a good man, and the Baroness, of course, runs the court. Exceptional, really. Then you have to the north the green shields, green swords, rather. They are friends of ours. We have a loose alliance with them. Then to the north, and then beyond them, of course, the blue crosses and the blue circles and the blue swords. Then just to the south of them, or to the southwest of them, with all the mirelings, this mireling infested swamps in between, you have the court of the Queen of Red Hearts, and a few of her assorted, the Countess of the Red Circles, obviously, and a few other assorted lieges. And to the south is the forest and the chestlands.
Thank you, Your Highness.
Majesty. Actually, no.
Majesty.
No, Elma would be Highness, actually. The Queen is Majesty, but Elma would be the Highness.
Okay.
All right, and so we take this map, scroll it away. Anything else they're able to offer us?
They do offer you provisions in terms of food and any arrows if you guys have any kind of for. Do any of you use bows or crossbows? Then bolts
Nope.
and arrows would be useless.
Shots. Shot fair.
Shots. Oh well, don't usually such a weapon. And he kind of they kind of look at Barnabas, if you have him out of Hanner space.
No, I don't just leave him. Don't just carry him around. He goes back into hammer space whenever I'm not using him.
All right. Well, they said like a gun. They're very finicky. Well, those
This is a toon gun. It's weird.
Okay. Yeah.
I would imagine so. We don't keep bullets generally.
Okay.
Need bother.
All
But
right.
what sort of food do you have? Do you eat normal food?
I would imagine normal food. The
Tastes all the same to me anyway.
And the meats and the cheeses and the I know they're considered illegal delicacy in the empires. I've heard. Depends on where in the empire you are, though.
Enhanced butter, you say? Great.
Well,
we'll take a bunch of that.
Yes, a legal workaround. I've heard.
I will take a bunch of that. And if we got any hot sauce,
hot, like
spicy sauce.
I've comes back with this is the closest I have, but do be careful with it. It generally, well, just be careful with it. She hands it to you. Yeah, you have a jar of Wonderlandy hot sauce. Write that down.
Okay. I'm gonna put that in my inventory here. Great.
Then
Any other advice for dealing with your neighbors?
do not trust what the Red Queen, the Queen of Red Hearts, tells you.
Okay.
She has dealings with. Also, how much do you know of corporate interests in Genesis?
A decent amount. Not a whole lot.
She does have some dealings with others within that sphere.
Go on.
Well, you know, I don't know. Fair enough. I try to avoid that sort of nonsense. But there are some complications that could arise if you were to have enemies among those in the corporate sphere.
Good
Right.
enough. Thank you so much.
We'll just keep our mouths shut then.
Yeah. That'll be difficult for me, but I'll try.
Uh-oh.
And Gorge will kind of knock the spear loose from behind her and kind of put the tip down and just start walking out the throne room.
All right.
Molly will follow on as well.
All right. Yeah. All right. Yeah, you follow them out. And yes.
There seems to be a lot going on with these courts, Molly
There-
says to Gorge.
I and kind of tapping the spear on the ground. To be honest, I'm much more of action than of word, and I'm learning quickly that I need to be much more of word than of action. This seems to be the currency spoken here.
Disappointing, really. I was really hoping I'd get to hunt something. But
Well,
who knows? Maybe we'll come across a Jabberwock.
we can only hope.
Always
Maybe.
wanted to kill a Jabberwock.
Yeah, when was the first time you thought about killing a Jabberwock?
Last time I was in Wonderland, I heard about them.
Mhm.
Sounded pretty fearsome beasties. Sounded
brought-
something worthy of my skills. Challenge.
What brought you to Wonderland the first time?
Well, I was looking just for a solution, really. I'd heard this was how would you put it? Wonderland, it's a wacky place, isn't it?
Yes.
And I thought, wacky place. Maybe I can find something that'll help me with my little cartoon problem.
Actually, since you have knowledge of Wonderland, what would it be? Roll a history.
Okay. Not one of my better skills, but we'll see. 20, not 20.
Yeah. So, actually, you might get some more from that. You know that the if you want to deal with corporate interests in Wonderland, the people you go to is really the Blue Swords. The Blue Crosses, they're a liege of the Blue Crosses, and
Okay.
they have more corporate ties than any of the other card houses. Blue Crosses are more their direct ties are more to certain families in Uh, but yes, the Windy City, I believe it's called, is their main ties. There are a handful of, I think they're called Puka, who they can use sleight and therefore can get to Wonderland more easily than others. Uh, then, so they have ties with them. Also, there is a, I might tell them what are they called? Night pauldron, night pauldrons, which
This is another group. This is another
night
house.
pauldrons are a species of sorts. Um, uh, also,
How do they relate to? Do they have dealings with the blue swords? Is that what you're saying? Or
they have dealings with all of the card courts.
okay,
Yeah, they have dealings with all the card courts. They're an independent faction known for skills in assassination. So, um,
I guess while we're blathering, does this occur to me because? Are you telling me this because you, Molly, might think that if the Red Hearts were having lots of corporate dealings, then it's possible the Blue Swords might be mixed up in it somehow as well?
yes.
Is that what you were implying? Okay,
Also,
cool.
yes. Also, you know that other courts have dealings with other groups that aren't corporations within
Right.
Genesis. That's the main thing.
Okay, well, I'll
Yeah,
probably explain all this to Gorge at some point as well. But first of
Yeah.
all, I'll finish off explaining why I was here. And
Oh,
I'll
yes.
just say, yeah, so I found out that there might be something called. Have you heard of the snark?
Outside of conversationally, no.
No. Very elusive creature. Hard to find. Probably even more elusive than a Jabberwock, actually. I heard it might offer me some sort of help with this whole ink capability problem, but I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I didn't find anything the last time, and Wonderland, well, you've seen for yourself. It's a weird place.
Yeah, well, luckily, I think the Snark, the Jabberwock, I don't think they'll be much of a match for us.
Hopefully not. Anyway, should we see if the others have managed to get themselves eaten or not?
Maybe maybe there's a Jabberwock out there waiting for us.
Oh, one important thing that Elma will kind of tell you as my mother, the Queen of the Red Hearts, well, let's just say she was able to convince a Night Pauldron to turn on a contract with my mother. I don't know what she used to persuade him, but be wary of her tricks.
Thank you so much for sharing that. It's very kind of you.
We'll do what we can to get you
Do you
any
know of any-
information that we come across. I'm guessing you're just worried that your mother's a little bit hot-headed about these sorts of things.
No, she kind of hesitates, looks to the others. The reason I worry is because the Queen of the Red Hearts is dangerous. And not only that, kind of hesitates, there are other factors at play. Other houses, well, the Blue Crosses. I'd be more worried about the Blue Crosses than the Red Hearts, honestly.
Molly just lets out a big sigh smokes a cigarette in like one entire draw, stubs it out on the ground, puts her fingers in between her eyes with the pained expression on her face, and just says, "Well, thanks for all your help. This is a little bit more skullduggery than I'm used to dealing with, but we'll do our best." All right.
Merlin tried to recruit you, didn't he?
No,
Really?
he's a
Kinda
faithful
glad to hear that.
servant of his queen.
Well, obviously that, but yeah, he wasn't made Jack, and he's still bitter about that.
Uh,
All right, you can just be made Jack. So you're not kind of stuck with whatever your
Well,
symbol, number, whatever it is
there is
then.
a ceremony. There are ceremonies to change them.
Ah, so there's a bit more social mobility than I originally thought.
Oh,
Interesting.
yes. Well, obviously, kind of gestures. All of us got to be aces because of birth,
Oh, okay. I
but
see. So you can't just
only.
become an ace.
Well, no, but it. I mean, I suppose it wouldn't be impossible to adopt. Uh, I mean, no one in the high courts would think to adopt, not if they could have their own.
I
It hasn't
don't
happened
even
yet.
want to know how that works. Uh, I think we're
Oh,
done here. It's
yeah,
you've been really helpful,
yeah,
but we'll
thank
get on
you.
with our mission now if that's quite all right with you.
Yeah.
oh, yes, of course. The map. Oh, and do be careful. The swamps. Uh, don't go into the swamps without a very clear guide. They are incredibly dangerous. The forest, also dangerous beasts. Uh, the chess kingdoms are the only thing on the other side, though. All of the card kingdoms are on this side.
Any snarks in there?
A snark. Oh no, the snarks are. You'd have to go all the way south past the uh, Black Peaks, under the Courtings, the Courtling bush, and then down across the Orange Seas.
Really? See, how come nobody told me any of this the last time I was here? Could have saved me a whole lot of scrambling through thorny bushes and over mountains and all sorts of
I
other nonsense.
Well, I mean, if you crossed the Black Peaks, uh you would have had to. You can't get to the Orange Seas without crossing the Black Peaks, no matter which angle. It simply does not work. The nature of I mean, I'm of course chief cartographer of. Uh,
So good to know. Good to
Maybe
know.
I'll pick your brains on that some other time.
We have a way forward for your to remedy your issue.
Aye.
uh, I will say Arthur Cuthlon was shrewd. Shrewder than I think my mother gave him credit for.
We have to be careful in an active Schroeder scenario. We'll make sure that we keep our wits about us.
She kind of tilts her head. I've never heard it put that way, but okay.
Well, you've been exposed to a brilliant new form of charisma. Hi, I'm
Hi.
Gorge.
He kind of blinks. Oh, you gorgeous and gorgeous.
No, Gorgeous and Gorgo. Hey, how are you?
Yes, they gave you that name. And she kind of blushes a little bit. Well, um,
I thought it was gorge as in a deep ravine in which certain death lurks.
It's a handy double meaning, isn't it? But definitely don't look anything into Gorgio. No relation.
huh. She kind of looks between you two. That is interesting information. Oh, and don't go too far to the north, or you'll hit the Bleakmere Gorge. A gorge is in a deep ravine, and you really,
Right.
really do not want to go to the Bleakmere Gorge.
But I bet it's gorgeous.
It is a dangerous beauty.
Then we have something in common already.
And she gives a little
Molly just
wink.
rolls her eyes. Come on, let's get out of here.
Okay, here I am fishing for compliments.
Um,
And so she'll
Okay.
she'll turn and spear into the stone floor. She'll tap her way through to the end there, back to the portcullis.
Yeah. So yeah, you head out, and none of the others stop you. Uh, and then you do cross the bridge, and you notice there's a set of tracks.
But our friend's not.
Oh gods, they've gone and wandered off again, haven't they? On their own.
Is it cogent? Is it the right amount of tracks? Is it
Yeah,
six feet?
it's horse hoof tracks and um a smaller set of tracks and two other sets of even smaller feet.
Do we believe they might be traveling in a straight line to hide their numbers?
No, no one
Does
seems
it
to
look
be.
like they're being followed by these other things, or does it look like they're being accompanied?
It looks more like accompaniment than
Okay.
following.
Right. No
Well,
signs of any
wonderful.
sort of struggle or anything like that.
No.
I don't think they're in any danger, but we should probably hurry up and catch up with them.
Yeah, let's make our way. I have a weird feeling about these little checker players.
Um,
Strike me as sinister.
Everything about this place is sinister.
I wouldn't say everything. It is very close to 6:00.
That's what we were thinking.
Yeah,
I
so I
think.
was thinking it would be a good place to end it. But yeah, I was trying to stretch out a little bit to give you some more info and about useful things.
Nefarious
layers.
skullduggery.
There's a lot of skullduggery.
Intrigue, mystery, complications here in Wonderland.
Weird, unnecessary details about card reproduction that we thankfully didn't get.
Listen, I am trying to dig in to the salient facts that will make us successful here. If I need, our bard stinks like cheese, and so if I, as a paladin, need to do some kind of seduction, I don't have the native inert. My move is kind of making my voice louder, making the ground shake. Gorge needs all the info she can get.
Yeah.
Fair.
In the celestial realm, let's say the hookup culture is weak at best.
Oh. Yeah. But yeah. Thank you all for viewing and watching and coming to see us how cool we are. And next week is, I believe, the fourth Sunday is something really cool for All on the Table, which are our variety show, which have different do things every Sunday. This month has a fifth Saturday, next Saturday is other cool stuff. Fifth Saturday is going to be a one shot. I believe it's the superhero one shot. I believe, right?
It is called.
You would know more.
I have.
Light of Cinders. Good. So yes, the fourth Sunday is Light of Cinders, and then back to the first Sunday of next month would be the Romulus. The second Sunday is a Pathfinder campaign, I believe. So every Saturday we have different campaigns. This is the third Saturday of every month, and Wonderland Complications. A lot of fun. Hopefully you stop by next time.
Yeah. And it'll be Vigilantes Union Origins. Will be what we play on the fifth Sunday, and we'll be GM'd by the wonderful Gen Giggles, and with a wonderful cast of other players that we're still looking forward to showing you what we do.
Wait, is it pronounced Gen?
No.
Or is it pronounced Gen?
But it's Gen Giggles.
Oh, okay. Sure.
In my head canon.
A very good friend. Oh, actually, I'm with her in the Romulus campaign on the first Saturday. Yeah. So thank you so much. come next Saturday for the Light of Cinders, and Saturday after that to see our very cool paladin as someone completely different in our vigilante justice one, and then back to the first Saturday for the one I'm in, which is the Light of Romulus, and all sorts of other
Dazzy
cool stuff
Doobie.
on the Transverse as well. Between Saturdays, we have a lot of Gender Meowster, who is a brilliant thing, and I think we're good.
Great.
Oh, 5e. It's 5e. It is 5e.
One of the longest 5e related books I've ever cracked.
Really?
I think it was like 600 pages.
Yeah, I guess they have 2 for every of the 200, and then more setting information in the back. All right.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for a wonderful game again today, and for all of you who are in chat and asking questions and all of that. One of the suggestions, again from chat, related to this, what is the game system behind this, is the information on the game. So I think what we should do is we should put together a page, probably on the Transverse website, where we list out all the information, what's going on in the game, where we're at, and information about the lore, the characters, all of that sort of stuff. So I will work to put those together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll be adding those soon. That's a great suggestion.
Yeah, because also the Artifacts of Romulus, I know, has a lot of lore behind it. That our DM, she homebrewed it, and it was quite interesting. This I homebrewed some of it, but borrowed a lot of it from Arcana. And I'm sure the others have also very interesting lore.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, everybody, and have a great night.
Everyone. Bye.